Hey, good afternoon. I'm back again, and I wouldn't come back on but with this particular spot or video if I had not discovered a real interesting tip here. And after 48 years of this, that's what I like about this craft, is you always try to push the envelope, learn something new, do something different. And we talked about this will apply to only a very few people that are working in real fine work or stuff that's real small. Well, needless to say, I want to put these small pieces in, and they are an integral part of the design, but boy are they a hassle to put in. So I was getting ready here just a few minutes ago to put which one? This one right here in. And by the time I got that thing cut and ground down, there was not much of it there. You can see that. And I'll show you how big this stuff actually is. You can probably tell from the end of this X-Acto knife. This is a 1906 Indian head penny, which they just happen to be the same size as the pennies that we use today. So, I mean, you know, the penny covers up the whole area we're working in. So anyway, I want to show you what I just discovered, and boy is this a lifesaver in working in this tiny stuff for those that are ultimately going to work down in stuff this small, which won't be very many people. But anyway, so after I cut this piece out and got it ground down and worked on getting it to fit in, and like I said yesterday, I'm using a pair of tweezers, and I just put a little masking tape on the end of it, and you can squeeze these little pieces down and get them over on the grinder and do things with them. And so I got this piece down, and I thought, now wait a minute. When I put the foil around something that small, I'm going to have to cut all the foil back off around it, and that's not, you know, that big a deal, but it's certainly hard enough. And I'm still going to have a tiny little piece of glass that, you know, at some point I looked and I thought, well, can I fill that with solder? And the answer was no, it doesn't look good if it was filled with solder, so I needed to put something in there. So then I got to thinking about, I wonder what would happen if I dropped this piece in, because it's foiled all the way around, like this piece right here, and I'm going to demonstrate how this works. Here's a piece right here that I put in there, and the prerequisite to this particular technique I've just discovered, I can't be that smart, somebody else has probably done it, but you need the foil to be all the way around this piece you're dropping in. So that's what I did here. So if there's foil all the way around this very small piece that you're going to drop in, then you can just solder around that, and that little bit, or that little small bead of solder will curl over the edge of that glass just enough to hold that piece of glass in. And it's not going to fall out. When I flip this window over, I'll come back and I'll be able to see what has foil and what doesn't. Now, what doesn't have foil. And I don't know whether I'll be able to use that in the rest of this particular window or not, because I'm down to the end of these super tiny pieces. I think it does have potential right in a place like here. See that leaf? That piece of glass is going to be really small. This works because I just have tested it. But if that's the case, and you put this stem in here, and you have foil this piece, and foil this piece, and you're going to solder this, I don't think it's going to be necessary to put foil around this particular piece of glass, because the natural nature of the bead of solder is going to put just a little overlap over onto where the glass is cut. And if you then flip it over and solder the other side, you've got this thing done much like a diamond ring is done, because these pieces here are holding that piece in and this piece here. So to show you how this works, I discovered the technique with this one, and then I added this piece here, and it worked great. I did not foil that piece right there, and you can't tell that I didn't foil it. So here, I'm going to demonstrate it with, I hope this works, I believe it will. Now this is a larger piece, so I'm pushing the envelope out a little more, anticipating that I might be able to use that technique here. Well, I know it's going to work, but now I'm getting a chair because I'm going to set up and be real careful with this, because I don't want to obviously flood this area with solder. And I did on this Hako iron, on this FX601, I've backed off. I had a tiny tip, man, like a little probably a 2 millimeter tip. I didn't like it because it didn't produce enough heat for me to pool the solder around in a larger area. And then the next tip up was about a 1/4 inch tip, I think, and I didn't like it. It was a little large. So Hako, someday I'm going to figure out how to pronounce that. I'll just go on YouTube and ask them how you do it. Anyway, I've gone to this little tip right here, and I think this is going to be the perfect size. So what we're going to do, be a good idea, and I'm using gel flux, by the way, is we're going to flux this little spot here. And the idea is that we want to put enough solder around here, a normal bead, and my opinion is, I believe it's going to work, that that solder bead, because of the curl over of the natural tendency of the solder, will hold that piece of glass in. Now it's actually pretty tight in there, and when I flip this window over, I don't really have any fear of it falling out. Then on the other side, I'll do the same thing. So let's see how this is going to work, or show you how it's going to work. Now I want to be careful. I don't want to run any solder up into here, maybe just a touch. Okay, now we're just laying a little bit of solder down, moving it around. Let's go this way. Put some right here. I'm just fixing up an area that needed to be fixed up. Oh, okay, now let's go over here. I'm looking down in the, yeah, you can see this. I'm looking into the camera. Okay, I got a little much there. Let's go right here. And see now, you notice I'm using the tip, or just the edge of this iron where the iron is the coolest. Now what I want to try to do here is get a little more solder down, kind of build myself something like a little bead across here. Now if I had this to do again, I'd have a little bit more foil. I don't get too much of that. All right, let's just drop this right there. Oop. It's getting a little bit heavy there. Yeah, we got too much, so let's see, what are we going to do? Flip that out of there. I hope you noticed how I did that. And I had a little patch right there of foil. Boy, we're going to demonstrate all, oh lordy. Okay, I think we might better just stop there for just a second and see if we can fix that. I had a little patch there because that had gone in real narrow and the solder had cracked on me there. I'll fix that in a minute. The main thing here is, can I get a little more? It doesn't look as good as I wanted it to look, but I know what's wrong. What's wrong is we just don't have enough foil right here. Okay, I'm experimenting in front of you. And I'll probably come back in here and fix this. But what I need was a little more foil right here, and that would have made it an area for me to get a little bit larger bead. So what I'll do, maybe I'll just do it while you're here. If I screw this up, well, that's all right too. This is all, you know, I'm reinventing the wheel here. So what I've done right now is I've got a little bit of Windex here, and I'm going to clean this area up, and we need to fix that spot right there. Hey man, when you're experimenting and doing things different, at least I've got the guts just to put it on the video, and if it doesn't work out, I'll make it right. Okay, how do I want to do this? Ooh. This I'm not sure about. Okay, I cut off a little piece of foil. Boy, this is a hit and miss deal here. Okay, and now what I want to do, I'm thinking that's just sliding around there too much. All right. See if I can clean this up a little bit more. What I wanted to do was put that foil down there and then cut it back. You know, that actually is not too bad. It really doesn't look that bad. I'll come up with a way to fix that. This, on the other hand, doesn't look good right here. And that's I had a patch, a foil patch on that, and then when we got in there and had too much, let's try to fix this. You know what, I'll show you something. I bet you don't have one of these. Here you go. You got too much solder in a spot, right? We'll just do all kinds of lessons here. All right, let me get something to cut this off with. Pro wick, solder wick. Okay, I have a little problem here, right? And I've got a little too much solder here. And what I'd like to do is get that back off there because it's causing me a problem. And then I get enough of that off there, I'll come back and I'll put a tiny little patch across here and get me just a wide enough spot to get my foil back down right here. Okay, so let's do this. I'll show you how this works. So we get this in here. And all this is just a copper braiding material. And it's just going to pick this solder up. And get it out of there. So I got too much. Y'all never heard of that? Some people have, I'm sure. Okay. And let me look down in here now with my spectacles. Okay. Now what I'll do, and I'll just clean this whole thing up here, and we'll come back and fix this whole thing. Here we're doing a repair for you right here. This isn't that unusual. Sometimes things don't work. They got to be a little bit cool here because you're going to fool around here and crack that glass. So then I'll have to come in here and try to take all of it out. So we're going to go one more little jam right here and take some more solder out. There it is. That's probably about enough. So you can see what we took out. Pro Wick, I've got that from this is number 4. I got that from, I think you can get it, well, probably some stained glass places sell it, maybe. But I got it from Amazon. Okay, now, probably not going to waste any more of your time, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. As I clean this up. Okay, let's see how we're messed up are we here. Okay, we've got this. Oh, and now this give me. I'm gonna clean this thing up real good. Redo the foil right here. I'm looking for. Here it is. Whoa. If you're gonna redo it, you might as well just redo it. Get all the bad stuff out of there. I'll end up redoing that too if I'm not careful here. We'll pull that back. Okay. Alright. We'll fix that. And all I'm going to do is clean this up real good. I didn't anticipate having to do all this. Oh well. I mean, I'm going to build a beautiful panel here. And anytime you're doing anything it's real intricate and handmade, you're going to have a little issue now and then. Okay, what I'm going to do is make sure that that is pristine clean. Pristinely clean. And then I'm going to come back in here. There's a little bump right here that I'm not real crazy about right here. There. All right. I'll come back in here with this after it's super clean, and I'll get the foil to stick to it, and I'll come back in here, and what we'll do now, I don't know whether I'm clean enough yet, you need that foil to really set down on that spot so you can come back in and cut it out. I'll make a shot at it while I'm showing it to you, and then if this doesn't work out for me, I won't waste any more of your time. Okay, now what you want now is a pretty sharp X-Acto knife, and I think that is. Okay, let me see if I can do this. If it doesn't work out, then I'll come back. We'll do it another time. Okay. Okay, there's my little patch. Now, what can happen to you on a little patch like that? And I'll put another one right across here. But we'll go ahead and see if we can solder this one down. And if we don't get it, I'll do it on my own time. Trying to cut that little tail off right there. That's probably pretty close to right there. Okay, now, whoa, we gotta have to be careful now. Okay, when we put that flux on there, that thing's gonna want to float out of there. So you know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna put the flux on with a Q-tip. Okay. Now's about when I wish I had that little tiny tip, because I don't want much heat down in here. Let me see. I forgot this iron. Nah, it's not turned up too bad. Okay, now, this time, there's a little ball of solder right there. All I want to do is just try to lock that one side down right there and come back. Let's see, I'm not trying to save solder, I'm just picking up some little bitty stuff. Oh, yeah, right there. Okay, now you got to be real careful now. Trying to get this tip. Okay, we're getting close. If we don't screw this up. Now, I don't want to get right up here because I want to do the same thing with a piece of foil. I want to come back in here and make myself a little wing right across here, just real fine. Okay, so we've got part of this done. We're not out of the woods yet. We're going to just keep this right there. You go. Okay, now what we're going to try to do is build up a little bit of a bead. You know what? I think of it now. Now that it's locked down a little bit, let's get a little more flux on it. Okay. I actually know what I'm doing, but sometimes things just don't work the way you want them to. And that's, you know, not every day, but often enough. There's a little indentation right here I'm trying to fix. I'm still not nuts about this. And here's a big ball here. I don't want that thing. Oh, I just got that little indentation fixed. Okay, I'd like to come on around here, but I don't want to ruin my little area to put this other little piece of foil right across here. So let's clean that off and see if it's good enough for our demonstration purposes here. And I certainly didn't anticipate, having to use solder wick and everything else here. Okay, what I want to do is just look at the quality of this bead. Okay, not too bad. Now, how we're going to complete this thing, let's clean that up so you can you see all this? Yeah. All right. That's actually pretty good. Okay, now, but I've left it not much solder here and not much here. And what I'm going to do is probably take that wick and not wick, but the foil, and cut myself I'll show you what I'm going to do, and I don't think I'm going to do it because I might have to do it 2 or 3 different times here to get this right. But our repair is not perfect, but getting closer. And when I get the foil right across here, just a little bit wider, I'll come back, and this little kind of humped up here, it doesn't look real good. I'll fix this whole bead and make that one bead going clear across here. It'll look a lot better. So what I'm going to do, or what I will do, I'll show you just in a second here. And I'm kind of doubtful that the glass and stuff is clean enough to do this quite yet. Now what I did there, oh, that's about the right width. You know, I'd just about leave that right up there. I wonder if we can make that work. Oh, this will be a little slippery here. All right, let's do this again now. This time we don't have the foil pushed down real good, so let's do it. Alright, oh, sorry about moving you around there. We can't have very many people watching this. This is actually though, heck, I'm getting something out of this. Every time you do have a screw up of some kind, and you make a mistake or whatever it is, or if I had made that little foil pass across here on this piece wider, we would have been gone a long time ago. But this is this is a technique I just figured out over the last hour, so there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But the key is, can I fix this and make this where I wouldn't even be able to tell where it happened? Okay, now we're going to have to really be careful this time, because this foil can go out, you know, a little slip here or there, and the foil will be going this way or that way. If that happens, then I'll cut you loose, and I'll come back and figure this out. It's certainly within my abilities to get this fixed. Okay, I'm just going to try to, oh yeah. Now that's actually locked down on this end. Okay, now we got to be real cool right here. Ooh. Come on, baby. You know what? I don't know what that was, but we need some. All right, now. Man, you got to just, come on now. Ooh, I don't think I want all that. Oh man, I love that. Good night. If I could repeat that on this other side. So I'm pushing this other side down. Okay. We need a little bit of, not much. Oh, gee whiz. You know, straighten that out. Golly. Hey, boy, this is getting close to not messing with it much more. You know, we're real close here. Whoa. You know what? I'm going to put just a little tiny bit right here. Man, I don't know. Let me clean that up. I think we're bailed out. Oof. Oh, man. When a plan comes together. Yeah, now and I've learned a lot. I've only done, I think this piece right there, that green one, was only the 1, 2, 2. Only the third one of these pieces I've ever put in without the foil around it, trying to give myself a better way of doing this super small stuff. You know, there's still this little, I'll fix that, but there's still a kind of a little, like a little jaggedy, humpy looking thing right here. I don't know whether to keep dinking with that or not. Yeah, let's go here. I might wish I hadn't done this, but let's see. You know, I don't know why I'm messing with this, because I'll tell you what, oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. I got it. You get the patina on that. That's the idea. Somebody says, oh, I don't like patina. I don't want to use patina. Man, I'm telling you, patina looks good to me, and it hides any imperfections in your work. Okay, we got that fixed. So let me pull this camera back here. Oop, let's clean this whole area up. Well, that was just pure excitement. I did enjoy that. Well, and I haven't used solder wick on a panel in about a year, so this is still not perfect. There's a little bit of a little something right there. Oh, I got right part of that. You know, that's just a little tiny chunk of the foil, just not quite right there. I don't think I'm going to mess with that much more. You know, I used to oil paint. I did a lot of oil painting. I sold a lot of oil paintings. And the hardest thing to do for an oil painter is quit painting. And you keep messing with it. Pretty soon you got mud. And I had to learn, boy, man, that's so hard to do. I had to finally learn. At some point, you just got to bail out of there, you know. Here's a real sharp point right here. There it is. You just have to bail out, you know, and stop. You know, you've reached a point where, you know, you've got it in a pretty good spot. Well, that actually looks pretty good, and the deal is here that because we're not foiling around some of these super tiny pieces, they're actually showing up better, and I'm getting a little bit more detail. So key small pieces like this one, I could have done that without foiling around it. So it's this one here, that one, and this one have had no foil around them. I guess somebody will find fault with that, but I don't know. You can jump in here and build one of these tiny intricate things yourself and foil all of it. It's whatever works for you. Well, anyway, I'm happy about that. I'm happy I showed you. Let me get that stuff out here for you. This is some amazing stuff, because if you get to working with really small stuff, and you get in you flooded an area, like if I flooded one of these cavities here by mistake with solder, there's a way to get that out. There's another way to get it out, but really the best way to get it out is just get some of this Pro Wick, solder wick, and look how much solder that we took out of there and got it out of there so we could have a place to work. So this stuff is really good. I've got half a dozen rolls of this stuff because you don't need it often, but when you do, it's just a huge time saver, and there are times where it's really saved a piece of work and made it look a lot better. I don't know about actually saving the work, but certainly make it look a lot better. This one here is just about empty. Okay, well, that's all I have. I wanted to come back and show you this new, I just found this technique. I can't imagine there's very many stained glass people that are putting together panels and they're not foiling certain pieces of glass. I would suspect that there can't be very many people doing that. And the first thing somebody's going to say, well, as time goes by, that glass will fall out. Well, the only way that glass is going to fall out is that you lose the solder on one side or the other. And even if you lost, say the other side didn't have any at all, it's going to have solder around. It's going to have solder. So how is that piece going to fall out of there if it's soldered in on both sides? So I think that's bulletproof. Well, anyway, I'm proud of it. I'm happy about it. I might be the inventor. Who knows? But anyway, all the tips and stuff that I learned, or I have learned over 48 years last month, everything that I've learned I've tried to impart to other people because, you know, unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing this forever. And there's a shelf life on all of us that are getting older in this trade. So what I'm trying to do is pass the knowledge that I have forward. Man, I don't have any secrets with this stuff. So whatever I know how to do or have learned how to do, I'll let you in on it. And all then you have to do is use what part of it you like. I'm not saying that everything that I know or do is right. I'm just saying it's the way that I've learned to do it. And I've developed this technique, that technique, this one at a time technique. I know there's other people that have done that or do that. For me, it's the Holy Grail, because you get into this, man, can you imagine cutting this stuff in advance? Yeah, no way in the world. This stuff, we're getting down now way smaller than lamp work, and lamp work's pretty tight, some of it. But that we're way past the wisteria lamp or anything like that when we get into this tiny stuff like this. And I was so excited to find, it just dawned on me when I was doing this piece right here. Why don't I just put that in without foil? And so whoever's listening to this thing, you're the first people that I've told how to do, or the way I'm doing this. So there's no secrets to this stuff. Somebody says, oh, you're giving away all your secrets. Well, the only secret to this stuff is just work your tail off. That's the secret to this stuff. There's no, hey, where's my little sign? I'll tell you what. Here we go. Here, this is my whole program right there. There is no shortcut to excellence. And what I like about this craft, one of the many things I like about this craft is, I don't care who you are, what your social status is, your financial status, it makes no difference. This craft takes no prisoners. If you want to get good at this, you're going to have to work. And there's absolutely no shortcut. There's no fast track. There's no quicker way to get there other than just bear down on it and work. And that's what I like about it, because it rewards those people that want to put the effort into it. And those people produce some really cool work. And I'm certainly not a master at this. I do know, I think I personally know about 4 people that have mastered this, and I consider them masters. I've said this many times before. I'm just an advanced apprentice, and I'm trying to get to a better place, but I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to master this stuff. Anyway, oh, how exciting is that? All right, I appreciate it, and just ask questions. I'll answer anybody. I chase people around trying to answer questions. So I got my little laptop right there, and when the thing dings, somebody's on Facebook, or I've got it tuned to Facebook half the time. Somebody asks a question, what's this, what's that? I'll stop. I've got plenty of time. There's no deadline on this thing. I'll get it done when I get it done. I'm about to get out of the bad stuff. That's the toughest part of this whole piece. And I may have, really, before I run out of here, look at that. That's a narrow, small piece of glass. I think I've just discovered today, 48 years later, how to take and put a small piece of glass in this very small leaf. I'm not going to foil that thing. I'm going to foil this one and this one. This will be foiled. That'll be foiled. But the key is that this one foiled and that one foiled. And I might give myself a little more extra foil right here to make that compensate for that. Like here, we had to run another little line in here to make that look right. See, it was too narrow because all I had was the foil on this piece. So make it a little wider. No one would ever know that piece, oh no, this, man, I can't even tell now, that this piece right here does not have foil on it. So anyway, I think maybe I've stumbled onto something that's going to give me the opportunity to make these delicate leaves with this little line running right up through here. Because this was going to be a challenge, but I thought, well, after I've done this, I can certainly do this. So, oh man, I mean, that's really exciting. Okay, well, thanks a lot. Be sure and ask your questions. I'm always around.